Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a few interesting new statements brought to us by Ninjago series head writer Doc Wyatt over on Blue Sky. After being gone on Blue Sky for a few weeks here, Doc Wyatt has finally returned with some new, rather interesting reveals for Ninjago Dragons Rising, especially Dragons Rising Season 4, and we have a ton of stuff to talk about here. A ton of new things were revealed. In today's video, though, we have to address the following topics. First of all, we are going to be discussing a quick update surrounding Pythor and where he is after the merge. Then we have some talk about a new type of Tide folk, more so some that might actually play a big role in Dragons Rising Season 4. We have yet again another update surrounding Rox and why she did not use her elemental powers during Dragons Rising Season 3, and finally here, the big one, we have some word that Jay might have actually had a girlfriend in the administration. Yeah, lots of stuff to talk about in today's video. First, let's start with the Pythor update. So someone asks about Pythor after the merge, asking for just a quick update on Pythor post-merge. Doc Wyatt replies he is happy, healthy, and leading an uneventful life. So I suppose you could say Pythor might have retired from villainy at this point. Last we saw of Pythor, he was presumably back in Cryptarium Prison following the events of Ninjago Crystallized, but after the merge, it's unclear if that prison is even still active or even still around. It might not be. And as a result, maybe the prisoners have been let loose. Maybe the prison was destroyed in the merge. The prisoners were free to go about their lives and do whatever. Pythor is happy, healthy, and again leading an uneventful life, meaning that he's probably retired, just kind of hanging out somewhere in the merge lands, not really focused on, again, furthering his conquest or anything like that. In a way, I would kind of like to catch up with Pythor. Maybe a Dragons Rising season in the future can give us a little Pythor cameo. That could be pretty fun to see. It's hard to say. Next up here, we have a couple of questions. The ones that I would like to talk about are questions number 3 and 4. So the question is, does the Land of Monsters have its own Tide folk? If so, what is their name? Doc Wyatt replies, they do have their own tides. Thanks for asking. They are called monster tides. They eat other tides. They live in nests underground. And that was said with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, which tells me that maybe these actually could pop up at some point in the future. Would not be surprised if in Dragons Rising Season 4, for example, we do see the monster tides, since we know that Kai, Nia, and Jay at least have a chance of being in the Land of Monsters. Something tells me then if they are in the Land of Monsters, they do have a pretty good chance of coming across these monster tides, which I actually would kind of like to see. For the first time ever, the Tide folk actually sound interesting to me. And also, not to mention, these ones eat other tides, so automatically that makes them the best kind of tides. They live in nests underground. Yeah, sounds scary, sounds interesting. Can't wait to see if we see anything like this in Dragons Rising Season 4. Like I said, strong chance we do. Then, question number 4, why didn't Rox use fear? To which Doc Wyatt replies, she uses it all the time. So what exactly does this mean? Is fear just constantly active in Rox? Honestly, probably. Maybe it's one of those elemental powers that's always activated. Maybe it's to either intimidate her fellow Forbidden 5 members, or maybe to just intimidate her enemies, or something like that. It's honestly hard to say what exactly Doc Wyatt means by this, but I assume the fear power is just always active, which in my opinion does kind of feel a little bit maybe less exciting than what it could have been. Honestly, the fear power had the potential to be a really cool elemental power, but as it stands, we really didn't see it like fully in Dragons Rising Season 3, or did we? Apparently it's active all the time, Rox uses it all the time, whatever. We're probably not going to see Rox anymore anyway, so doesn't really matter too much, I guess. But let's talk about the big one here. So question number 2 in this series of questions asks the following: did Jay have a girlfriend in the administration? To which Doc Wyatt replies, ask again next season. What exactly does that mean now? Now, okay, there is a chance that Jay did have some type of girlfriend in the administration, and honestly, that would make sense when you think about it. The guy did not have his memories. He did not remember Nia. He did not remember that he was in a relationship. That's the entire point of Jay's character right now. His memories are completely wiped. He has no idea who he is, what exactly he's gotten up to, you know, before the merge. He has no idea about any of that, but I do think, again, considering Doc Wyatt's wording here, it is at least possible that Jay had some kind of girlfriend in the administration. At the same time, could totally not be the case. Maybe Doc Wyatt just doesn't want to address any administration stuff because maybe season 4 will dive deeper into that. I imagine it will, considering that a lot of us feel like season 4 is probably going to be the time, you know, where Jay's memories finally fully get restored. Honestly, kind of hope so. I feel like that's definitely where the series is going, and obviously all of the administration stuff will probably get revealed too. Now, I will say, I don't think it's the administrator. I've already seen a couple of theories about that floating around, that maybe Jay's girlfriend was the administrator. Probably not, because quite frankly, again, it's been suggested that we will never find out anything about the administrator, and that storyline has just kind of been completely abandoned, so not expecting that. However, I do think if Jay did have a girlfriend, that would make for some interesting drama in Dragons Rising Season 4, since again, it is kind of, you know, implied that he's kind of getting feelings again for Nia, and if they eventually do start dating, say Jay doesn't have his memories back, but Jay and Nia eventually do start dating again, it's going to be kind of awkward if Jay's administration girlfriend shows up, right? Who's to say? Maybe Jay's girlfriend is that Agent Donovan character that we've heard so much about, you know, maybe Donovan is her last name or something like that. It's hard to say really what exactly is going on here. Now, I do think, again, this doesn't necessarily mean that Jay did have a girlfriend in the administration. However, it's kind of possible now that I think about it. And honestly, kind of want to see something like that happen, you know? Might make for some interesting drama in Dragons Rising Season 4, but I digress. Obviously, there are a lot of different other answers and questions here that we could probably talk about in later videos, possibly, but that was the one that I wanted to focus on most of all, because I feel like that's the big one here, the big confusing question that is definitely going to be talked about quite a bit. So with that being said, everyone, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts on that question and all of the other statements surrounding Ninjago Dragons Rising's future that we talked about in today's video. What exactly do you guys think about all of this? And like I said, we do have a lot more statements brought to us by Doc Wyatt to talk about in later videos. Lots of stuff going on here, but yeah, leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments. What exactly do you think about all of this? And thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this one, feel free to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon.